What's up, Flockers? We're back with another episode of Flockast. As you can see, we have our special guest with us today. We're joined, as always, with Mr. Colin Long. What's going on, Colin? We got Mike Rudman, Mike Renzetti, and Jack Harper with us today. Two mics.
How you fellas doing today?
What's up, Flock?
All these guys have been on that episode before, and so we're going to have them come on again today. We're pretty much having like a general
and it's also a very special episode, if you ask me. It's our 50th episode. 50. That's I never thought when we started we would ever get this far. And then the improvements we've made. Thank you, Mr. Renzetti, for the round of applause. But it's been such a fun thing. You know, I was over the course of last week as we've been planning this episode. I've been kind of playing back a bunch of fun times that we had over these last 50 episodes, and personally, me, all the crazy places I've had to find to record from. I've done lactation rooms from a lot of episodes. I've been in phone booths. So if you ever heard some weird echoes, it's usually because I was in some kind of weird cram spot trying to get an episode out. Yeah. I wasn't dairy free, so.
Well, how long ago was the first episode?
It was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, was it?
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize it was that long.
Yeah,
I remember you we're talking to me.
And wait, Mike, you turned him down and he came to me next. Is that how that went?
I was like, let's do it.
I was your second choice, Jake. What the hell, man?
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
No.
The second choice, though.
I pretty much put a post out like, hey, who wants to join me in a podcast? And I think, Colin, you were like the one
I
that
talk all the
serious
time, so I
about it,
figure I might as well get some
do
recording out of it as well. So you're not going to shut me up.
Consider me like a key set-in. Like I'll pop by every once in a while.
You're like a ghost
I'm
host.
Not up here
you know,
full-time.
you're in, you're out.
Yeah.
He's a third chair. He's like a guest bear, like two bears, one cave. He's a guest bear.
Right.
Yeah, like John Ritter in Three's Company.
I don't know. You're reaching on that one, Mike. That's pretty far.
That was a stretch.
But anyway, look, I thought.
But what's going on, Jack? You're kind of quiet over there. What's going on with you?
I don't know Three's Company. I know Three Company's reference from Full House, and they do the song, "Come and knock on my door. I've been waiting for you."
All right, well, we got to make some more like
Company
Gen
too.
Z friendly references now, guys. Mike, our boomer references will not fly anymore.
Right.
Well, they'll be spread. Like we
out.
said, we got three generations of flockers to an extent. You know, we have Rudman from the very beginning. Me, Colin, Jake are all kind of in the middle in similar different points, and then Jack's, you know, still been here for a minute, but he's new wave, he's new gen.
He's the youngest.
But anyway, guys, I was thinking since we have us all together, and it is our 50th episode, I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about our 50th episode, our personal 50th show experiences. Look, we've all been to a bunch of shows, so I thought let's talk about our 50th. I'll just kind of kick it off. My 50th show was actually after Fish in Atlantic City. I want to say 2021. A little late night throwdown. It was definitely super fun. I remember just ripping Miyagi from that night. But that was probably one of the better ways to see a Fish after party, and also it had air conditioning. I remember just being scorching hot from dancing on the beach and then getting into I think it was the Hard Rock. And then cold air hits you, and it's just like
It was in the Hard Rock, yeah. Yeah, if I recall right, that was the second Miyagi ever. I was at that show also.
Okay.
Was there?
Yeah, that's early on Miyagi.
The second one, because the first one was only like 3.5 minutes, and then that was like the first proper one.
Yeah, it broke like 10 minutes. It was the first like real.
I remember I was
Miyagi.
2 rows back, and it was just epic.
So I was at Alicia Keys right next door, and then I walked Miyagi's.
I think they just played.
Did that end up being 2 sets?
No, it was just one long set.
Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
It was
remember at
a
the
marathon.
encore,
It was
you know,
like a
kind of
legit
stumbling out,
3-hour
like I
show.
just gotta
Yeah, it was
go.
3
I can
hours.
barely stand up anymore. I just need to get back to my hotel, and I still had like a long walk, so I was like just walking out during the encore. I was like, I need to go lay down.
So you four were there for that
Yep.
show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ben was texting me trying to get me to tell him when the fish show was letting out so they can figure out when to start. And I was like, yo, don't start until I get there. He's like, you better get here fast. I'm like, bro, it's like a 20-minute walk. And like literally I ran as soon as the show was over and walked in like right as they started.
Yeah, I did the whole
walkout
walkout during the encore. Just so I can get a head start.
I was
to
on
get
the
there.
very edge of the beach for the Tweet Prize.
Yeah, I also remember
Fish was good that night too.
Fish was great that night. And I remember I had one of my coworkers, I brought him 2 Fish for like he's not a jam band fan or anything, but I was like, dude, you should come do this. So he brought a bunch of his friends to Atlantic City. They all got hammered. One of them didn't even make it to Fish. And then we go to the show, and I got him a Pigeons ticket too. I was like, dude, you're coming for the whole ride. And we get to Pigeons, and maybe 45 minutes in, he just walks over to me and looks at me, and he's just like, dude, I gotta go to bed. And I was just like, you made it longer than I thought you would. I'm proud of you.
Long guy.
Yeah,
you guys
I
did
did
the
that.
Aggie show before that too.
That was a
I
long day
did,
of
yeah.
music, but
He was
dude,
playing that hot sweaty bar. They played 2
anybody
sets
watch
too. That was a
Aggie's
long
set
day of
last night?
music.
Oh yeah, they played before that show.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
4 o'clock.
Oh.
No, because I was
I
busy,
was
but
at
it
Aggie
looked
last
sick.
night.
Oh, you were there,
And
Rudman.
I was
Nice.
gonna say Rudman was there.
Nice.
They crushed it. Yeah, it was great.
Those boys are the
Rudman grabbed
future.
his shirt.
It was super crowded though. It was like not a comfortable crowd the first set.
It was
People
the
filtered
Brooklyn
out
Bowl
for set
in
2.
Brooklyn,
There was a lot
right?
more space, but
Okay.
first set was
Yeah, it can get tight in there.
yeah, the Brooklyn Bowl.
Yeah, good old Williamsburg.
What about you, Jack? What was your 50th show?
50 shows, Stage AE on the
Nice.
Daft side run. It was actually my mom's birthday, and it was in Pittsburgh too, my hometown. So that was sweet. The night before, I did the were they in DC? I drove there, and then saw the show, picked up Cody, drove back, got back at like 5:30, slept for a couple hours, and woke up, and then my parents came over and we started partying, and then went to the show, and that was a sweet show. That's one of my favorite shows too. And I thought, well, the night before was really good as well, but it was like burning up my time. The burning up my time sandwiches is like burning up my time moonwalk, robot walk, and then burning up my time. It was just pure bliss. I think tears started streaming at one point when the burning up my time peak
They
came
did
back
something
around.
about
It
us.
was beautiful. I love that run.
On that-
And I always go back and listen to that show. But especially yeah, out of something for you, I think. Yeah, but I think that was the first Pigeon show I saw where I got to go back to my own house right after, and I like walk in the door. I'm like, holy crap, this is
Huge value
different.
to
I can't believe I'm here right now. But yeah, it was a special night for sure in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't your whole family there?
Yep.
I love how
Yeah,
your whole
mom's
family
birthday.
goes down.
Yeah, so they show
That's
out to all
awesome.
the Pittsburgh shows. I mean, my mom's probably did like 20 Pigeon shows or so. So at
That's a
this point,
flex. I mean, how many people's moms have been to that many
same
shows?
with my dad.
Sick.
And then,
Love it.
yeah, it's a family affair. Yo, that went to, yeah.
My mom hasn't even.
I
been
took my
one,
mom to see
so-
Trey once. That was a good handle.
Yeah, they went to
I
Dome
mean-
Fest, the Pod Dome Fest, and then the. Nice. Yeah, and we did Pod Fest, and then the year after that too. It was awesome. Special times.
Yeah, especially when you can bring the whole family along.
Yeah. What about you, Renzetti? I'm sure ours are
Like the
kind of
year was
similar
1928.
in
The Pigeons
timeline.
had just
yes.
stepped on stage.
The year was 2019. It was the Globe Hall VIP only show after a 2-night run at the Ogden. It was when they did like those initial, like you had to buy the first 2 nights to get the third night, like those couple runs. So two sold out nights at the Ogden, and then Globe Hall, it was like capped at 150 people, tiny little room. Low Down debut, Long Train Run-In return. That show was a bop. And I gave all of the guys gifts at that show. Greg was about to have his first kid. I got them some Fish baby stuff. I gave Gator a Celtics jersey with Gator on the back. I got Ben like a zip-up sweater that says first name bassist, and then I gave Jeremy a little mini Asadoc Trey model guitar, which I know is in his house. And yeah, that show was a fucking bop.
Hell yeah, long train running, definitely gonna be a bop.
Yeah, for sure. Plus Lowdown debut. It's always cool to get a
100%.
debut at like a special show, you know?
Yeah, I remember those shows just because those VIP, like you said,
I did
the
like when they
add-ons
used to
and
do
stuff
that, where
like
you
that. I
had the
remember
2-night
those
run. You know,
were
they
gonna
did like
be
the
some special
Foundry and the
shows.
Fillmore, right? So you had to buy the 2-night pass to get the first night ticket. It kind of really encourages you to go both nights. Just, you know, twist my arm too hard. But I did kind of like what they did.
Exactly.
Yeah. Orange peel shows too.
Yep, the orange peel shows. But I mean, that Foundry show you're talking about too. I still think that's one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. Extended totally intro.
You know, the stay.
So good.
We're still on a stay. Still not been played.
Mike, do you even remember
saying that
your
again?
50th
But
show?
yeah, the little "come as you are" sandwich
said
there
what?
for the stay. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Monster.
Anytime they do a landing in the Zydeco, it's usually a good time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Usually.
Rudman, your 50th show. Do you remember it? Was it in black and white?
Nope. Before we had color TV, definitely. No, honestly, I never counted my shows. I was telling you guys earlier, the first time I saw them was I was walking back to my dorm from class. They were
Did you
playing right
complain?
outside
Tell them
my
to turn
dorm
that
in
noise
Quad at the
down.
University of Maryland. And
It's
I was like, guys, I gotta study.
get off my lawn.
No, I just met Jeremy like a week earlier, so like I recognized him, and that's what actually made me stop. I was like, oh, hey, there's that guy, and I was like, you know, they were all right. I mean, like they weren't like the Pigeons that we know them now. They were like 18-year-old college band learning how to play their instruments. So I saw them once, and then they just started popping up around the area. I started seeing them again and again and again. Never was like, oh, this is my first Pigeon show. This is my second Pigeon show. And then it's like, so there was never really a milestone. I mean, they started doing the residencies at the 8x10. I saw all of those. So call it, you know, for every Wednesday of the month of March in 2011 and July of 2011, and then March and July of 2012, and then March of 2013. There's like 30 shows right there. 25 at least. And then between 2018 and 2019 was the only time I actually did count. So they did the 2-night run at the Beachland Ballroom December 28th, 29th in 2017 through the Electric Kool-Aid Asheville test. I hit 60 shows. So that's 2018,
Yeah, the
2019
Asheville,
2-year stretch.
Asheville was the time I really traveled.
Did, like all of this,
Like I went
all
to
of
the
spring and
Baltimore to
fall
see
tour
the 2-night
2019.
run at the Ram's Head.
Yeah.
But going down to Asheville was the first time I flew for the Pigeons. Those were some sick runs.
The Beachland Ballroom run was at the time was the farthest I traveled to see them. That was from DC to Cleveland. It's a 6-hour drive. It's like the first time I traveled more than 4 hours to see that band. And then a year later, I flew to Mexico.
Didn't they play like a
For
pool set or
holidays, right?
something?
Holidays, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, they basically like kicked the weekend off
Dope.
with a pool party. They started with Funky Ezekiel Wipeout. It was great.
Yeah, that's a good set.
Yeah,
I remember listening to that. But
good time.
go
And
ahead.
then I
go
think
ahead.
it's the Poseidon from the night set in not like the Cabana, whatever that other room is called. I remember the Poseidon from that other set is really good.
The Palapa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
They
Poseidon
also
from that
did like
set's
King
really
Kong
good.
War Pigs in the Palapa. That was
Fucking the cover that made me fall in love with
yeah. They
Pigeons.
basically
nice little
started
bookends.
and ended the event.
Mm-hmm.
So Jake,
Yeah,
tell us about
Good
your
times.
50th, my friend.
My 50th show was the first time I ever went to DC. It was the Anthem shows with the Mummies.
Yep.
Lost in Line
that was a good
debut.
time.
Yes. And then
Wait,
Mike, you gifted me that long sleeve, or I gave you a long sleeve that show.
You did. That was the blue, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, did I give it back to you?
No, you gave me a Melting Lights one.
That was the one I gave you. Okay. You gave me the Pigeon Ball one.
Yeah.
Right. That was when I had finally lost enough weight to like fit into a normal size t-shirt.
Yeah, and I mean that's probably like the first time we actually like, got to like meet and like hang out a little bit. I remember after the show.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, but that was like the first time I went to DC, first time being at the Anthem, seeing them. Tiffany went with me before the show. We had dinner with Kendall and everything. After the show, I was able to go backstage and hang out with all the guys. Kendall was back there. Mike was back there. Renzetti, not Rudman.
This is how you found out you got left out. I just remember a Monster King Kong from that night. The signed, sealed, delivered. Just
right. I got a picture of that King Kong because they also had Casey on keys.
Yep.
So it was Casey on keys with like eight mummies,
monster.
and then the pigeons just like jumping around all over stage.
Yeah, I remember that being one of the first time that I was like, there's like 14 people on stage. Like there's a lot going on, and the mummy with like the grinder and shit. I'm just like, this is wild.
Yeah.
I love the mummies, dude. They're great.
You mentioned the Lost in Line debut that night, which
fantastic.
was, I remember just getting so down on that. But if you think back, Mike, Mr. Rudman, this might be another challenging one for you. You have to dig in the memory bank. But what was your first debut that you saw? So I'll go first, and I'll say that Yo Soy Fiesta at Ram's Head was my first debut, and always had a special piece of my heart. You know, the song sometimes gets some criticism from some reason. I think it's still a beast. It's a good time. But yeah, Yo Soy Fiesta.
Yeah, despite canceling fucking.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yo Soy Fiesta still hits.
That's uncanceled.
I listened to one yesterday, and that song goes pretty hard, especially when Gator yells at the end. It gets me every time.
I remember at that we were talking about my 50th, those shows at the Ogden back in 2019. It was one of the first times Gator, he screamed Yo Soy fucking Fiesta with like some real gusto, and the place went pretty berserk for like. I remember I was up in the little like balcony spot on the left, and I like was hanging over the balcony just like, let's fucking go. I got so hyped. First debut, I'm not sure. I know that I saw the first Havana on the April Fool's show at Brooklyn Bowl in 2017. For sure. I'm trying to remember which ones I saw before that.
But I couldn't tell you what the first one.
I remember I watched the live stream whenever Distant Times was debuted, and then I saw it.
That was in Portland.
Yeah. Then I went to the shows. I think it was the next weekend, Anthology in Rochester. So that was like the first time. Like, it felt like a debut. It was the second one. I got to dig it up to figure out what the actual first one was. But on the new album, Day and Time, I saw every single song debuted on that besides The Town.
The Town.
Subtle flex.
Work.
The Town.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Subtle flex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to.
That would be like in the past 2 years. Then you've seen all those debuts.
Yeah, because they started
all these
feeling
songs.
fine. Well, feeling fine at Home Fest, and then they brought that out at the Finger Lakes Drive-In. They did all three of the songs. I think they did Weightless and
Oh,
Cape
I saw
Cod,
that
and
too. Then.
Yeah, and then Feeling Fine and Undivided in the Finger Lakes. Oh, that was sweet. I was excited to get it because I love all those songs.
Yeah,
especially Weightless.
I caught those too. Those were the first drive-in. I mean, the first one was the one in Boston, and then the Finger Lakes were right after that.
Yep.
Because I went to those.
Well,
I had a lightsaber fight at one of those shows.
I saw
during the
that.
Imperial March.
I filmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, during that too long Imperial March, I remember watching that. I was like, "Damn, how'd you know to bring a lightsaber?"
Yeah.
Maybe
shout
they
out,
played
shout
it
out
because you
Mitchell
brought a
Graves.
lightsaber.
Could be.
Oh, he had him.
Could be. He had him, but I remember we had him during the day, and and at set break there was one point there was so like obviously it was still all pods and everything, and this guy and a group starts to walk through, and I just put out the lightsaber and I was like, this is not the pod you're looking for, and they walked all the way around to like not walk through the pod. I was like, was one of those few times where like every guy, one of those guys was like, wow, maybe I have the Force.
Jedi Renzetti.
Kind of like looked at my hand for a minute. Just like, yeah.
What's up?
But I know we've all seen a lot of Dome debuts too. Like there's one every year, so Rudman's definitely seen the most, but yeah, I mean 2017.
In a lot of debuts.
17 was which year was Avalanche, which was dubbed Sabretooth for like a day before they changed it to Avalanche. I think that was 18.
I feel it would be a fitting name for it still.
2017.
Oh, mine would
Maybe
be
26.
My first debut was Water, the encore, the
Fun
second.
and Funk was 2017.
You're right, Rudman. Yeah, it was Fun and Funk.
I'd love to hear that.
Avalanche the next year, and then 19 in Marvin's was Water, and Paperboy. Mm-hmm. And then Home Fest.
I missed the first. Yeah, those three.
Mm-hmm.
Undermined, Feeling Fine, and Weightless.
Mm-hmm.
Not in that order.
I still think my favorite Dome debut was Beneath the Surface in Legend Valley, because it caught me so off guard that just boom, ba-dum. It's just that song is one of my new.
I will only say the one I feel, and I think you'll all disagree with me on this one, that would rival it would be Fantasy.
Good.
I feel like this is my opinion, but still.
You're right. I will disagree.
I'll disagree.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I've actually
their
seen
debut
Fantasy
version still
live
is
yet.
the best version. They haven't played it better than that since they played the Dome Fest version. It's short now. They play it like a 4 minutes, kind of real tight version.
They
can turn it back to 7 to 8 minutes.
We gotta push that song out a little bit.
What was the other one?
Like...
Dinosaur
Disco. Yeah, that was.
Anthony Tamani called that.
Yeah,
that was such a great call.
Yeah.
After Dome Fest, I was talking to Jeremy like the last day when everyone was tearing down, and I said, "Where'd you come up with the idea for Dinosaur Disco?" And he just started like, dun, 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 and he was just like, how in his head he just came up with a guitar riff that sounded like Dinosaur Disco. Like, it's a joke that turned into a riff that turned into a song, and I'm just like, that's how you come up with this stuff? Like, I don't know, it still doesn't make sense. I don't understand, it's not a musician, how they make music, like how you go from no song to song, right? That process still, like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, their process always intrigued me, because they really do collaborate on a lot of stuff, and more now than I think that they used to earlier in their career. I think it used to just be primarily, like Jeremy writes a song, Greg writes lyrics, Ben comes in. Now I think that they really do kind of share. Like, I remember the first time that I met Alex was at the Stone Pony back in maybe 2017 or 18. They played on the summer stage, and I met him outside, and we were hanging out and talking, and I did him a favor, and I was like, yo, as reimbursement, all I want, just play Kiwi. And he looks at me and he's like, dude, I don't have any input. And I was like, okay. So, because he was only 2 years into the band at that point, so I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I think they're way more collaborative now, which has been cool to watch them evolve in that way.
Speaking of collaborations, that new Ganser project that came out recently, just that one little song was pretty dope. I think that's a cool trio, right? You get Gub, Ganser, and
sick.
Alex Gator on there. Hell yeah. Do we?
Yep. Yeah, I've enjoyed seeing Twiddle actually, since their, stoppage. A lot of their crew are working with bands now, and like Gub was doing stuff with Lamp for a bit. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Twiddle is continuing on. or not Gub, excuse me, Herm. I mean, I just saw my first Biscuit show in almost 4 years. They were here at the Boulder Theater, and it was
that
like,
the tractor beam?
No pun intended. It was a spectacle. Like, I was genuinely.
God, okay.
No, the tractor beam was at the Fox on Sunday. They played just two
that
regular
tractor
Biscuit
beam, I
shows at
watched
Boulder
that,
Theater Friday, Saturday.
That was really cool.
Yeah, they were just regular
Biscuits are on
shows.
fire, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole weekend. The Biscuits are the hottest they've ever
Doing
been.
a really good job right now.
Hottest they've ever been.
Yeah, Jack just saw Biscuits for the first time.
Just saw my first show on
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
buddy.
I'm thinking about it every hour. I swear it was one of the best shows.
Try to get a ticket to Webster Hall next week.
Where's that at?
It's in Manhattan.
Oh, album debut at Webster? Yeah.
It's a tough ticket.
Tough ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need some more. Maybe Bisco Land this summer.
Bisco Land. I've actually been.
I'll see you there. Let's do it. Let's do Bisco Land.
Even.
I hope Pigeons are on the lineup.
Yeah.
If Pigeons are on the lineup for Bisco Land, that's like 100% full send, no question.
Yeah. I'm definitely thinking about it. It's in my head.
Without Pigeons, it's like a 95%.
It's 4th of July weekend.
There's no dome.
Yeah, and there's no peach this
right.
year.
If you're trying to think of like, look, Bisco Land will put together a sick lineup. I know that.
Yeah. If you look at the lineup last year for 2 days, whatever they have coming for 3 days this year, it's going to be a good time.
Didn't they have Dopapod last year?
I don't remember.
But I think so few festivals. The fact that they'll be able to pull probably more talent bands in there to kind of make it just like really stacked.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, I mean, where they're currently at, the hype around them, the hype around Bisco Land, people will want to sign on for that. Plus, not being at Montage is a dream.
Hold up. Backing up here.
They had Dozio, Emancipator,
Montage.
You don't like the hills?
Your
calves, you leave Montage, your calves are swole, bro. Swole calves.
Yeah, it's just funny with Montage. Like, I remember, because I started my first Camp Bisco before, stopped and became Bisco Land was back in 2011 in Mariahville on an Indian Lookout reservation, and the security was the Hells Angels. And graduating from that to like a water park,
same vibe,
like,
right? Motorcycle gang, water park, lazy river.
It's all there. But the thing that I can't Montage, I mean, when you're in the campgrounds, I'm sleeping looking up at a ski lift. That means that I'm not even supposed to walk there, let alone sleep.
Yeah, my bougie ass always gets a hotel. I can't do the camping there.
But I
used to live like 90 minutes from Montage, so like it was there. Each was there to drive up back.
The earliest debut that I can remember seeing is probably the Couldn't We All debut.
Damn.
2009, I want to say, in the fall. They played. So the name of the venue is EJ's Landing. It's what the song is named after. There's a dude in college named Igor Fedorovsky who used to host like a Thursday night karaoke night. And then Pigeons used to play there a bunch. So when they wrote Landing, they kind of changed it to Igor's Landing because he kind of like, what's this thing? But it was EJ's Landing, which was a restaurant in a Clarion Inn in College Park, which has since been completely demolished, and now it's a Lidl grocery store. But yeah, they were like, we wrote this song at 4:20 in the morning, like literally that morning. And then as soon as they dropped the hit the bong line, like everyone just started cracking up. They were like, that's funny. Let's go. It was great. Yeah.
Damn, that's some pigeon lore for you right there.
Yeah. Later that night, I broke my finger. And
I was going to say, I knew there was something else
like
about that story.
Partial amputation. Yeah, that's why I remember it. I was in a drunken stupor. I fell in the parking lot, and my hand just got like mangled.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was diagnosed as a partial amputee. With my fingertip. They gave me the option of having it reattached or cutting it, and I was like, please try to reattach it. They're like, we might have to cut it anyways if it doesn't heal properly. I'm like, please sew it back on.
Disgusting.
Yeah, couldn't we all?
And now it's my funky finger.
Funky finger.
That's a great story.
So something that might be cool to talk about because we all might have a different one. What's been your favorite, or at least like the most recognizable crowd reaction you can remember? So for me, Kiwi in Stroudsburg at the Sherman back in 2018.
Fucking took mine.
Yeah,
that was it. That was the one.
FYI, the reason Rudman and I met and how we got to know each other was because we're both like, oh, we're both Mike R's and we both love Kiwi. Yeah, that checks out. Let's be friends.
It was such a well-timed Kiwi that was executed so perfectly. It was the first time the band had to stop mid-set to take an ovation.
Yep.
Like,
really?
Yeah, it was the first time. It was such a cool moment.
Watch the
like,
video.
They were about to go into the next song. They were like, and everyone was just like, no, like that was awesome. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Greg literally has
just
to
like
step away from the microphone.
And they had to just be like, step back and like say thank you. Yeah, it was a good moment.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments in my entire Pigeon history. I mean,
so what show was that again?
That was Stroudsburg at the Sherman in 2018. February.
Yeah,
I want to say February 9th.
That was the
10th,
night
before the Pony.
It was the night before the Stone Pony. Yeah. Dude, so that Pony show was sold out. I messaged Dave the next, like after the Stroudsburg show, like, Dave, I know they're gonna play Funky Ezekiel in the second set tomorrow, and I need to get into that show. And he was like, I can't guarantee. He was basically like, if you're there, I'll get you inside, like no matter what. So I sent it, and the second set opened up. It was Havana, Burning Up My Time, and then Into the Jam, Burning Up My Time. They went into Funky Ezekiel, and I was just like, yes, let's go.
That was also that Pony show was the most crowded room I've ever been in for Pigeons. Like they always I mean, the Pony is like my hometown venue from Jersey. They always oversell it. You like actually couldn't walk past somebody. Like you had to literally like slide.
When I was the last show,
it was rough. I also met
kind of like, you got to go to the bathroom. It's like I'm just gonna hold it or piss my pants because I'm not getting through that crowd.
Mm-hmm. Well, the last time they were supposed to play there inside, the ceiling caved in, and that was why they moved it over to the Paramount.
Turn that place down.
Which was the weekend that they first played the Cap, which is that poster right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that happening.
Oh yeah, we could see it pretty clearly from here.
What was that, Jake?
I said I remember that happening, and they had to change it to the Paramount. But I can tell you,
those shows were sick.
The most memorable crowd response. The only thing that I can think of is like Greg in a Porcupine and a big crowd or something like that when he goes to side. I mean, I couldn't tell you the show or anything specifically, but that usually gets the crowd pretty lit up. And most recently, if you listen to the soundboards of Atlanta, Greg doesn't say the first part of Poseidon. He lets the crowd sing it, and you can pretty much hear a good portion of the crowd sing "You Lift Me."
He did that with the Melting Lights once too.
What's that?
He did that with the Melting Lights once too, where he let the crowd. Oh, it was the Foundry show.
Yep, that was the Foundry.
I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he let the crowd sing Melting Lights, and then there was also the Dome Fest where he lost his voice and the crowd sang a lot of the songs.
We had to sing Poseidon.
There was a moment where Greg was like, "Thank you, Flock, we love you." Yeah, he was struggling that night. I was like, "Dude, you proved your point. Stop singing."
But I mean, I will forever take that rough day 2 vocally for Greg, because we got the return of Dutchmaster. And if you ever want to see 2 over 6 foot tall men hugging, jumping in place like schoolgirls, go back to that moment and find me and Rudman in the crowd.
Like, are some girls getting kidnapped in here? What's going on? I hear screaming.
Yeah. It was that to me is,
I think it was like 2014. I was talking to Jeremy and I was like, dude, you know what song you guys haven't played in a while? Dutchmaster. I think it had been like 3 years at that point. And he was like, yeah, how about that? And then it just like,
yeah, it's always Rudman's fault.
Well, again, it's Rudman's fault.
Yeah, I got really annoying with it in like the beginning of 2018, where I was just like talking about it all the time, nonstop. And then that tour, they started playing a lot of bust outs. They were like busting out Wireless and French Cafe and Overtired. And every single time they'd be like, we're going to play a song we haven't played in a while. And all four of them would just look right at me like, what's it going to be? And then it would be something else. And then they announced the theme for Dome Fest that year, Throwback Thursday. And it was like, okay.
Let's go.
Not to overuse my catchphrase, but let's go.
Yeah. I just remember.
Right.
I remember being in the crowd, and they start the set, and it gets to the point of Candy, and Rudman and I just kind of looked at each other, and I watched him like take a deep breath and just be like, okay, like, all right, I like realized that it was really
K-holing
coming.
in front of me during what was it?
Nice.
During getting jiggy with it. Someone right in front of me started K-holing, like going down, and I'm like, this cannot be happening right now. Like, I literally went to the friend, like, dude, you got to get your friend the fuck out of the crowd immediately. Like, now. Go get him some water, or go get him to sit down. He cannot be here right now.
Yeah, I just I mean, we've all had like those moments where you're like jumping and hugging with friends. I felt like it was like two cheerleaders that like they just like our team just won the state championship, and we were just hugging, jumping up and down. Like it was a good one.
That was
Good
exactly
analogy,
how I
yeah.
described it. Like when I really played On the Ride in Philly, it was like I won an award of some sort. I was so like triumphant.
Mhm.
It's like that's one of those moments right there. It was and same Wireless at Swansea too. That was one of those. Those are the two that really stick out for me when it comes to a song that I really wanted to hear.
Oh yeah.
That Brooklyn Bowl,
It was good to get it.
that Brooklyn Bowl Philly weekend with the On the Rise return, I think those were two of the hottest shows that they've played in the past few years. I remember going to that show, and it was the first time in a while that like all of the people that I know from the flock and like all of like my really close friends, we were all in that room, and everybody was on the same page of like, okay, Pigeons is really back on fire. And I just kind of remember being in the crowd like, all right, it's still like they still have an evolution to go.
Yeah,
But those shows were fucking gas.
I remember
Love those.
You're talking about the Philly shows.
Yeah, the first ones in
yeah.
the beginning of 22 or beginning of 23.
Yeah,
22.
those,
Yeah,
22.
we were on the side balcony of that show.
yeah. That
We're
was
bowling.
super
We
fun.
bowled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. we went bowling.
hey,
Boulder was conceived
all right.
on those nights.
On the
Let's
rock.
go.
On the Ride.
Yeah, dude.
Jake was on the rise for sure.
Hell yeah. Dude, it was such a fun time. We got Lane and were able to bowl before the show with like dogs in a pile, and then we had this side stage like right next to Jeremy, and I believe that's when Mike Rudman pulls out an apple in the middle of the show
Apple a
and starts
day.
eating it too. I'll
Cosmic
never
Crisp.
forget that one.
You're a Cosmic Crisp guy, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right, I respect it.
Sweet, crunchy,
All right,
juicy.
I respect it. I'm a Fuji or Honey Crisp guy myself.
Yeah, I'm a Honey Crisp for sure, every day. But
I'll take
I know
whatever.
Jack had an idea about lyrics that were special to us or something like that. You want to elaborate on that, Jack?
Oh yeah, I'm just whether it be favorite Pigeon lyrics, and I guess what they mean to you. But I was also thinking of a certain song, attaching a memory to a certain song if we spitballed to each other. But my favorite lyric is "Keep it composed. It's the only way I can survive." That's my favorite one from one of my favorite songs, Up Funk. I feel like that's almost all encompassing. Just keep it composed and
Not
you
bad
can keep
words of
moving
advice.
forward.
For me, I
Love
think
that.
it's what I have engraved on the
Favorite
underside of my
lyric.
watch. Is
Yeah.
"Grooving to Survive." I feel like I've been long before I knew the Pigeons. I feel like I've always been just trying to get by and survive and just grooving my way through life. So that one always kind of hit hard for me early on. I know I'm stealing your sale on there, Jake. That's why I wanted to get it out first.
Well, I didn't know that. That's amazing. I love that because I'm right there with you. Obviously, my tie-dye business is named Proven to Survive, and that hit me hard too because,
Nice
like,
plug. Good plug.
well, it's
And
not
a
a plug.
plug.
It's the honest truth. I love this song. Like,
It's a plug.
yeah, Sail On. I know that's not a lot of people's favorite song, but it's one of my
What's
favorite
your website?
songs.
grievancesurvive.com.
I don't own that one, but you can check me out on Instagram at Grooving to Survive. There's the plug.
Now it's a plug.
There's the plug.
Woo!
Yeah,
I love that song.
lyrics are tough because I mean I feel like they've all hit me at different points. I mean Kiwi's always been my favorite song, aside from Dutch Master, but I think I like the idea of attaching moments to songs. I think that that the story about Dutch Master with Rudman is one. I think that there's a lot of unique stuff that happens that you can remember specifically during a song, like which one was it at the Capitol when Colin, you, me, Jake were all up in that booth.
Sukasa.
Yeah, that was like, well, a moment that I barely remember because I was
We've all been there.
I was there, but I wasn't there. Yeah. If I swear, if there was not that picture of me proving it, I would be like, nah, I wasn't there. It was, yeah, just straight, just hands up, looking not even close to the stage, just totally off this way. Yeah, not even remotely paying attention to anything, but like, what's that thing over there? But yeah, there's a lot. I mean, like I said, I specifically remember the moment at that Beneath the Surface debut. I remember a lot of like pivotal, the Imperial March, the lightsaber fight. I think. I mean, if we're going to attaching memories, I still think one of my favorite things I've ever seen Pigeons do was the undercover in 2017 at Dome Fest. The Dead and Fish set that they did.
Let Jeremy sing.
Nice.
Let Jeremy sing.
Yep, it was the first time Jeremy sang "Sand" to me.
Is it
It's the
true
first
that he
time I
only
ever
sings
saw
Sand?
it.
He only knows the lyrics to one
And-
song. He just knows
He's
only
sung
one
it before
song.
that.
Oh, it's fine.
It's not even knowing the lyrics. It's just the only song he likes to sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the Dome Fest, All Stars, the Pods, that set was already cooking. Well, I have a memory attached to that set because I remember my whole family was there. We would go after Pigeons finished their second set that night. We went back to the campsite and I grabbed a beer and stuff and hung out for a second. Then started walking down to the stage, or the campsite is very close to the stage. We start walking down. We look in the sky and we see all these. We saw like the conveyor belt of stars going through the sky, and we had no idea what it was. And so we stop and we're looking at that, and I'm like I'm feeling good, and I'm looking at my family. I'm like, what is happening right now? It felt like something was about to happen. And then more people, as they're walking to the stage, we start collecting a crowd, and we're all just looking at it. And then someone in the distance was like, "It's Elon Musk Starlink." And I'm like, oh. As we're looking up in the sky, looking at that, I hear Cross-Eyed and Painless start, and I'm like, oh shit, we gotta get down over there. So that was just a moment and a half. But then we get back to our pod, which is way in the back.
We had that all apologies,
then
right? That was
like
those were my highlights
and
of the whole
a bunch of other
weekend.
cool
I
stuff.
really dug how they played that.
I love that set. I always revisit that set. But then I heard the opening notes to Sand, and I was like, he's gonna sing. I'm like, we have 2 pods too, because it was like you could only do 4 people to a pod, and that's why we were so far in the back, because we needed 2 pods to a ton of people. And so I like, oh God, Jeremy's gonna sing. Then I heard his sweet voice. I'm like, oh my gosh, let's go.
Yeah,
that was another one of those.
Why doesn't he sing more?
I was also in a pod in the back for that, and as soon as I heard the opening, I remember the people I was with. I was like, I'm running to the stage. Stay here or come with. And it was just like, I was like, you could question it. I just beelined.
Oh, so good. And another the year after, I know Mike, you got one for this too, but it was when the Penguins so it was the
like the
what's it? The
great
story of
narration
pigeons set.
Oh yeah.
They were teasing it. Greg was talking, and they started doing the "I like to blaze notes." I'm there with my whole family. I'm like,
In
"This
the
is the
wrong
first
key.
song they can play it. They're gonna play it. They're gonna play it." And then it was like the ultimate. And like I was like pissed for a second, but I was like, "Oh, that's Penguins. That's like that was like the ultimate Penguins intro right there." I wish they would have
The
played it. But
anticipation was like pulling at my chest, and then they went
Yeah.
into Penguins, and I literally fell on terror in front of me.
I was so excited.
I was like,
I
"Oh
was
my
telling
god, I
it's
hate,
gonna
I
happen.
hate
It's
them."
happening. It did
Yeah,
not
and they did it
happen.
in the
I'm
wrong
pretty sure
key.
I'm
Just
pretty sure I went like
assholes.
I went like a couple of months without seeing them again. I don't think I saw them again until the Atlantic City show, and I was like, man, like I wouldn't listen to them for the whole time.
Oh, my
Salty
gosh.
boy.
I was very salty.
Oh, that's funny. I
Mad.
guess my greatest memory would be actually my 75th show, which was at Devil's Backbone, the brewery. And it was a pod show, but Gator
Baldwin
and
Place
Ben
was
both
really
came out in Tight Eyes of Mine, and then they opened up the second set, I believe, with Sail On, and like Kevin and Dewey came over to our pod during that time and was like hanging out, jamming with us for Sail On. And then the next morning, we took a hike with like Wyman, Jordan, Jeremy, and Ben up in Virginia around Devil's Backbone. And me and Jeremy actually found not a diamondback, but a rattlesnake up in the snake.
Crikey, what we got here? It sounds like a rattlesnake.
Hike. Yeah, and
Devil's Backbone.
he owes me one ever since that one that I'm gonna have to pull at some point. He's like, I owe you one.
I have one of those. He owes me one too, and I'm saving it for like an emergency.
Sometime
I'm
down the
just
road.
like waiting for the day where it's like desperate. I need to be down bad.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, Jeremy, remember that one time I found
Jeremy,
that
I need
rattlesnake
someone to help
for
me
you? I
move.
need to get in.
Do you have a pickup truck?
I think another just one of the coolest moments that they ever did, like one of my more like holy shit moments, was 3/31/18 at the 930 Club, the Horizon April Fool's fake out, where they came out and said that they were going to reprise the Led Zeppelin set, and they came out intro to Horizon, went into Eyes. Then they said, just kidding, we're doing Black Sabbath on Easter Sunday, went into War Pigs, went War Pigs into Bare Necessities, and then went from Bare Necessities back into the intro to Horizon. And I was in the balcony of the 930, dead center, and I just I remember I was definitely spun like a top, and I just remember grabbing the back wall.
Just hold on. Just hold on.
Like, what the fuck just happened? Literally, I was like, what the fuck just happened? And like, I looked around.
There was a lot to unpack there in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I looked around and nobody else, like my brain was short circuiting. Like I was literally like, I just didn't know. And everybody I was looking at was not also short circuiting. And I was like, cool, I just need to sit and just live with this.
Not registering.
Spot on the balcony is a jam now.
That
Jack,
also just that show was one of the,
That's the spot.
Yeah.
I've hung out with Jack in that spot.
Yeah, that's when I called that Sail On opener. I had a coordinated dance. I said they were going to play Sail On second set opener, and the dance was everyone was going to stick their arms through the little railing and act like we were on a boat.
Yeah.
Through the gate.
I remember that.
No one else. I was like, we thought we were going to do this. I know it looks weird, but this is the move. I did it.
I did it again. I
God.
remember.
Yes.
But
that's the spot.
I think something we could also talk about too, which might be difficult, but favorite shows ever. I still think, to me, Asheville Test
even the
is
following
still
year,
my favorite show I've ever
the
seen.
return to Asheville was also monster. But that first year, the Asheville ID, it definitely is a top 3, if not top 2 show for me.
I think it was. I mean, the show itself was great. The theme was great. To me, that was like the peak of the Flock and the band like being connected, and the vibe in Asheville. It was palpable. Like you could feel the energy walking around town, and it was just that was a really, really special weekend. And I mean, that night particularly for me was just one of the best nights I've ever had of my life. Best New Year's show I've ever seen. And I still think one of the best things Pigeons has ever put together.
I mean, they really did mix in like Crosstown Traffic. Jungle Boogie was that year, right? Yeah, I'm not mixing that up. When they went into Jungle Boogie, I about shit in my pants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With like all the talk guys.
So crazy.
It was talk guys and the Mummies.
Yep.
The offshoot Electric Avenue.
Yep.
Just
all along the
monster
Evil
set,
Woman.
start to finish.
Oh,
Crazy.
So
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites too. I've been saying lately my favorite show ever was the Caverns. That was the whole vibe, but I always look back on Asheville and the Orange Peel too. Like some days one's my favorite, some days the other's my favorite, but they played Help on the Way at the Orange Peel,
from then
and I
vibrating
was so
through the
excited
wall
that I couldn't dance. Yeah.
Oh,
and he was wearing that Jerry shirt. That shirt is so
real
sweet.
quick, Jack. One thing, a little birdie came up to me and told me the other
and then-
day that the Pigeons are going to play the Caverns this year. It's like the guy knows a guy who knows a guy who went to school with another guy who said they definitely are booking it right now. So super reliable source. But I can't miss it this time. I was.
I'll be there.
They don't have many dates left at the Caverns if they're going to be booking
not
it.
JT's a
It's
liar.
pretty booked up, so I don't know how reliable that's. It might be.
I was disc golfing with JT that day at the Caverns, and I got my first ace. That was one of the best days of my life. Like we were camping out at the campground, like 10 minutes away or so. There's a disc golf course. There's fishing. We could all fish if we wanted to. Hit an ace, my first ace, and I've been playing for years too. And then the Cavern show was amazing, and Mountain Grass Unit opening. I love those guys too. Good times.
Yeah, they're dope. I mean, we could
I
also
think one of my favorite shows
go ahead, Jake.
would be the
I was
Beacon
about to
Skiff
throw that one out
outdoor
there.
shows when it was raining.
That was the first time we hung out at a show too.
Rudman was there. And Colin was there. Yeah, pretty much.
I was like, I got
came
extra
up in
space in my pod. I'm
commentary.
second row center pod, and you want to hang out in my pod? That'll twist his arm.
That was my first run back after heart surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Mike,
important.
that was your first show from heart surgery, right? Is that what you just said?
Yeah,
You and
They
Jake, I
played
remember you
Penguins
calling out
Grooves in the
way
Heart.
ahead of time. You're like, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
coming! It's
The
coming!
Penguins
Where's
Jam was
Tiff? It's
tight.
coming!"
Yeah.
Yeah. Tiff was in the bathroom
Greg
and
did it.
came running back when she heard it. It was hilarious.
I think
Greg did
Nice.
a cameo for me, and he sang that song like a month earlier.
Hell yeah.
I know Jake Rudman. I know all of us were together at that Beacon Skiff. And then
Yeah, I was there with
The
Pete.
White Knight,
So good.
White Knight from that run
Yeah.
was my favorite White Knight ever in the history of White Knights. And every time I listen to it, it makes me think how much I really want to hear White Knight again.
Yeah. Last time they played it, they didn't finish it.
Didn't we have like another
Mhm.
Zydeco that night as
Yeah.
well?
But yeah, those
Was-
Beacon shows are amazing.
They played a good
Go
Zydeco
for it,
that night,
White
right?
Knight.
Didn't they?
What was I calling?
Right.
Landing Zydeco,
Well,
yeah.
because they thought it was going to rain. We thought we were going to get canceled out, so they just played straight through set break, right?
The second night.
That was also the Penguins Funky Jam into the Steal the Shade debut,
Yeah,
Or,
the
like-
Shade debut. I was like,
which
I
was like a really cool,
If you
like,
brave the rain, you'll get rewarded. Is
I was
my thought on
asking
that show.
Fred and Mary older couple. I
Yeah.
thought it was the Partridge
that was
Family.
one of the few times they audible the 2-set show into a 1-set show, and it actually paid out.
Yeah, it did. I had a flight in Pittsburgh to catch at 7 a.m. that next morning, so I was like, oh, if this show gets rained out, it won't be the worst thing ever. But they played right through. I drove like 6 hours after that. Caught a flight to South Carolina.
Jack,
My
you're crazy.
favorite show was probably the Cleveland House of Blues in 2019
with the tiny desk.
It was like
Ric Flair tiny desk.
It was the Ric Flair, which was like, you know, we were definitely getting rowdy. It was like a rowdy evening, and then I'm pretty sure like Sam Walker like punched a guy that night, like who was being disrespectful, and just like put him down like with one hit, which was kind of intense. And then and then like it was just like weird. Like it was like what the fuck are they doing? Like we're bringing out a special guest, and they bring out like this little doll and put him on a stool, and then continue to play like Something for You and Time to Ride. And Greg does like feeling kind of loopy, brother. And I'm like, woo! Ric Flair. And then
I remember at Dome Fest when Dewey walked over with the Ric Flair and gave it to you at Manny's workshop.
Oh yeah, he rides on my dashboard.
Yeah.
But that second set was like one of the sickest, jammiest pigeon sets I've ever seen to date. It was the moonwalk opener, like a subtle, like smooth moonwalk opener into a Burning Up My Time with a surreal bust out. And then they did like King Kong and Sunny Day later in the set with a Horizon. And the Sunny Day was just went completely out there.
Nice.
One of the best Sunny Days. And there was some Chili Peppers, and then Dawn of New Day encore to say, we'll see you tomorrow night at the Bluestone.
Love that.
Love that.
Right.
Bluestone.
People were complaining. I was like, that was textbook.
Yeah, that's
You
you
coulda
do
got
it
a
right
knock.
there. I love the shorter encore or whatever. The
Sometimes you don't need
it.
more than that. You want to have more for tomorrow. Like you want them to leave.
just
you
an
with-
They don't even need, I wouldn't mind if they just didn't encore. They're like, they just play their two sets. They're like, yeah, that was good enough.
Thank you. There will be no encore. Good night.
No, don't even say it. Just
Could you
turn
imagine
the lights
if
on.
you
Yeah,
did
just
the
leave.
crowd
Just walk
if
off.
They did that. They just walked
If
off.
they know
sweet.
that it was that good of a show, I would also know that too.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. It would be so like
Because
pissed, but
I'd also
like,
love
proud
to
of
watch
them.
how many people just stand there for like.
lights
Oh,
just
yeah.
come
No,
out.
they're coming. They're coming.
No, man. Like, no, they're really not coming. Show's over.
Sweep it
dude.
up.
I'd be staying.
I'm also waiting for the day they do a second encore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they go
Have
off
to come
stage and then
back
come back on again. Yeah.
Well, we have to make that happen. That's on us.
Wait,
Saw
Fish
Fish
did a
do
double
that once.
encore.
Dumbfest.
Yeah, in the Coliseum.
Man, anybody who left that show after the first
2021, I
encore
think.
is pretty butthurt.
Yeah, they
Okay.
well they encored with more, and then they went off, and the lights never came back on, and people are like standing around like, wait a second, the lights aren't coming back on. And next thing you know, like people start giving like them the ovation, and then all of a sudden like they come back out, and then they play a killer yam to like end the show.
Oh, the yam was
Yeah.
the second one.
Yeah,
Right.
Like actually, just kidding. We got
Wow.
20 more minutes for you. Here you go.
That's sick. I've seen them do
Well,
like
cool
multiple.
pitches or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Fish do like 4 or 5 song encores
Yeah.
before.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, they've done
yeah,
an
right.
8-song
Yeah,
encore
a
before.
dig.
It's basically a whole set 3. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Yep.
Oh,
Thank you for the dicks.
what's
Willie.
everybody's
Hands
favorite
down
sit-in
Willie.
that they've seen? I'm gonna
Good
go.
question.
All right.
Really?
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go. Casey, Distant Times, Girlfriend is
Casey's
better.
definitely my favorite
sandwich
key
from the
sit-in.
930 Club.
I mean, if there's gonna be one,
Nice.
I used to be kind of soft on key sit-ins, but Casey changed that.
Yeah.
yeah, that one was great.
Think-
Tomo in the Batman costume was fire.
Yeah, Tomo.
Mine's Ganser on Couldn't We All from Party in the Pods. That's my favorite. That's smoking hot. And anyone listening hasn't listened to that, go listen
Get
to that
on it.
as soon as this episode's over.
Also, we
Was that the one
Yes,
where
I think
he
that
came on
actually-
stage and did the kickflip?
I think that was at the Pod.
That was at
I
Domefest.
think.
When did he do the kickflip?
That was one of the
Dome.
nights.
Okay.
Pod.
Yep.
I think it was during that All-Star show we were
Yeah.
just talking about.
Dude, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen on a computer screen.
I should teach you about the internet, Mike. There's a lot of
Pottery.
stuff out there.
Yeah, I've also seen.
Yeah, but like none of them are as cool as Mike Dancer rolling skateboarding on stage during a pigeon set. Now you kickflip.
It's a pretty heady move. But I've also seen them sit in with other people that have been pretty sick. Like I remember during the Fillmore show, that like the Foundry Fillmore weekend, Gator sat in with Aqueous on Kitty Chaser. And that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like it was, because usually somebody will come and sit in on a cover, or with Pigeons, it'll either be Lightning or Poseidon or what have you. But watching Gator play drums on an Aqueous song was badass.
Yeah, this after the Janice show, Jeremy was playing with This Place. It was sweet. And the song, the covers that they did, it was like "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked" and "Fuck You, CeeLo Green," and then one of their songs too. I was like, oh, I love hearing them in that territory. Like, just like these more poppy songs and these melting faces on it.
Jeremy,
and,
at my 100th show, Jeremy sat in with Eggy and played "Hungry Like the Wolf."
I was in.
That was that was great.
Jeremy's sitting in with the Magic Beans at Dumbfest last year. It was sweet. They did what's that song? Constellations.
Creatures Constellations.
Yeah, that one. That's a great song.
And Let's Go. That was 2 songs, like 45 minutes.
Yeah, he just jammed forever. Yeah. I was like, dude,
so when
Jeremy
I was
just like will not
Dicks
stop playing at Dumbfest.
He's an animal.
Like,
right.
If you like seeing Jeremy play guitar at Dumbfest,
Magic Beans did an after party at Fish Dicks just last year, and Jeremy sat in for the entire set. They had like a Super Bean set, and it was the coolest Magic Bean set and one of my favorite nights of music. It was such a rad set. If you want to go back, and it's on Nugs, go back and listen to it. It's at Cervantes in Denver. It was just a ripping loud show. Last year.
Nice.
Yeah. Just over.
What year?
Last year.
What year?
My favorite sit-in would have to be Gub sitting in on FU in Omaha at the Slowdown on the road to Red Rocks. And I still have a video of it on my phone. And I actually sent it to Gator the other day. He's like, what the fuck? This is old as shit. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm excited to hear that Ganser and Gub project you guys got. And it's, I don't know if it's on Nugs, but it's pretty extended. Gator and Gub are.
They play E-Funk at that show, I think.
Yeah, it's the first show I ever got a set list to. It was a side Gator show, so he's on the side because it's a small stage that they're on.
I don't know why, but that sparked another one. I don't know who else was at when they came back from pandemic at the Ardmore, but Chris Jacobs came in and sat in on Eyes of the World.
Yeah.
That shit was, that was really good. Also the Hey Pocky Way that he sat in on at
in August.
Yeah.
Also the Super Funk that he sat in on with too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just I thought that I knew my favorite, and I just remember that it's actually the Super Funk.
Super Funk was great.
Chris Jacobs is an unsung hero, man. Guy's so underrated.
If you check out the bridge shows on Archives, the Bridgers.
I've listened.
Amazing rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite sit-in for Pigeons was Carl Denson on FU in 2014 at the 930 Club.
I didn't know that happened.
Just powerful, very powerful. Just wailing on the sax.
Damn.
I'm sure. Have we
I
all
just hit 75,
have we all broke 100?
My last show.
Okay. I know. Okay, so
I live in Florida right now.
You got to catch up.
All right,
come on.
Pigeons come down here like once every 64 years, and I got to travel. But you know, yeah, I'm trying.
Once you got to move to the Northeast.
I know.
That's where all the shows are.
I'm not in the area. Like we have Ultra Music Fest going on in Miami, about a mile and a half from my house right now. And let me just say, the streets are just dripping with EDM bros right now. It's so cool.
That's cool.
But it rained out, and it was like a mud fest. It looked like an apocalyptic scene. It was crazy for people that had to pay a fortune.
Oh, that's all that.
If you don't put on like a neon green
I'm gonna
tank
put
top
glitter all
and
over
walk down
myself.
the streets of
Cover
Miami, I'll be
myself in
pissed.
glitter. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna switch from the jam scene. I think I'm being drafted by the EDM scene. We'll, Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. My new podcast
been nice
coming out soon. EDM Talk with Colin Long. I bet you'll also.
Can't wait for that, man. Well, guys, we are just getting over an hour. My son's about to probably start waking up here soon, so let's go ahead and talk about who the fuck is meme like that? Who is it? Is it one of you guys?
Apparently Ben thinks it's you.
It's not me.
I know, what the fuck? It's not me. Everyone, ever since they put that sail on meme,
That's the
everyone
misdirection.
thought it was me, and it's not me.
I mean, yesterday Rudman asked if it was me, and I said no, and he doesn't believe me. So who knows?
No one's even
I
asked
don't
me if
believe
it was
anybody.
me,
Yeah, it was me twice.
and it's not me. Yeah, that's right. I'm EDM, bro.
That's because you're an EDM
you
bro
call
now.
I don't know. Shane Nelson admitted to it being him 4 times on my post this morning.
He did?
Yeah,
I
he
saw
said,
that.
it's me. He's like, how do I believe it's you? Why would you admit to being an anonymous meme page?
And also, why would you admit it
I think
4
it's-
times to like? Yeah, no.
Where did you post
Let's
that?
not admitting it.
in this group, that's where
There's a
people
group
talk
that does
about
that?
pigeons.
Oh, okay, I must have missed that one. Might not be a member.
I'm all for
It's-
meme pages
it's
though.
not
I
blocked.
think just put the good word out there.
Dude, tell you
Oh
what.
no, yeah, it's a great page.
Tell you what.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
The one where Dave is looking at Rick and Greg's. I lost my shit when I looked at that meme.
That's so old. It's like
But
an
it's
old
so
one.
funny. It's
Yeah,
still
it's a good
funny.
one.
I don't care.
What
It's been
2020 called?
funny since pre-pandemic.
Yeah, it
It's
checks
funny
out.
because it's true.
Yeah. Well, pigeons are still off until May 3rd and 4th, where they bring their triumphant return to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
I'll
at
be there.
XL Live. And
Guess I'll go on Goose Tour in the meantime.
no Goose Tour.
They're sounding
Goose
good.
Tour. We're talking
4
about
nights at
Pigeons
Crap.
Tour right now. And
Goose biscuits,
they
magic
start
beans.
May 24th with Frasco Dogs in the Pile in Asbury Park. Then the 25th in Connecticut,
go.
26th Utica, New York,
I'll be there. My birthday throwdown.
31st in Rochester, and then
Yeah, I gotta send it. I can't.
Nice.
I can't miss
Oh,
that
yeah?
whole run and not do part of it. So I figure if I'm gonna make
Already.
one show,
Let-
and Miss Leah said we could stay at her place, so I got a place to crash.
well, you might as well just come to Columbus the next night.
We'll see.
Yeah, you might as well just come to Columbus.
Columbus.
I might as well just
Yeah,
come
Colin, you
to
might
Columbus.
as
I guess
well
I'm
just
going
come to
Columbus.
Columbus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might as well.
Well, call me after
I
this.
want
We
you
can
to
arrange
come.
might
something.
as well.
You might as well just do the whole tour.
I need
You
you
know,
to
if you
come.
want to get to
Only way to
100
get
shows,
there.
you got to do the whole tour.
You got to
It's
come to
how,
Columbus.
it's how it's done.
You just got to do tours. Yeah, like
Well, look,
that's how you
between us
get
right now,
large
just between
numbers
us. Jake
increases.
said if I
Like
start
Rudman
doing
and I
more
think we
shows,
both
he's
did
gonna kick
almost
me off
all
as
of
co-host.
spring and fall
Brett
19.
said, like, look, I need more out of you. And I was like, all right.
You got to just do like 20 shows in a row.
I didn't say
Seeing
that.
too many pigeon shows, you don't have time for Flockdown.
Yeah, but you'll have more content.
True.
Content good.
But yeah, I'll be at those XL shows and the Pony, Frasco, Dogs, Pigeons. I'll be back in Jersey for those, or back east.
Yeah,
Nice.
As soon as I saw they announced the Beans after parties, I'm like, I was gonna send it a little, but now I'm gonna send it hard. 'Cause I figure pigeons are only gonna play one set
Yeah,
for each
most likely.
show with 3 bands playing.
They're
But I'm
not.
super excited
They're
for that.
playing 2 sets.
They're
Dogs in
playing
the
2
Pile
sets?
go on early. Dogs in the Pile go on early. Like they'll be playing
Yeah,
when
I
like,
will
no
say
one's
they
even
do
there.
pull a
Doors
crowd.
open at like
So
4:30.
it's all
People
They
will
so
be
it's
should.
like
there.
every
People
show
will
is
be
like
there.
a
Putting
full
them on
day
first
music.
is the hardest thing to do.
People will be
They're
there.
playing.
Like
Oh,
every day
yeah,
is like
I'm
a
gonna
full
be there,
day.
but
Where do you get your information?
go read the info. It's all the info is on the event pages.
Let's say
Doors
2 sets
open
of
at
pigeons.
like 4:30 or 5:30, depending on venue. First set is an hour. Second set, Frasco is an hour, and then Pigeons are gonna play 2 sets, and they'll still be under curfew time.
What a treat.
You know,
Yeah.
guys that are that well
Sounds
informed usually tend to
legit.
make meme pages. That's all I'm saying.
I don't have time for a meme page. I barely have time for this to squeeze it in between.
Fingers pointing at you, Jake.
Whatever.
Here's looking
Just
at you,
I mean,
kid.
like, I mean, who else would put sail on the top of the
What I'm saying.
ladder?
Whatever.
Would have been Doc.
It would be so like who would make it so obvious?
I would have put Doc if it was me.
Yeah, it's too obvious. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It's too obvious. It's too obvious to me, Jake.
All right,
Mike,
well,
do you want to
you guys
plug
want
your
to add anything
podcast?
else?
Yeah, I mean, I think let's. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, for anybody that's seen it or hasn't, I actually just started a new podcast of my own. It's called Musically Mindful. YouTube has full video, audio on Spotify. It's about pretty much just me being able to discuss mental health in the music scene with musicians and people behind the scenes that, make it all happen. And I think mental health is important, and I want to drive that conversation forward. And I think, giving the musicians that we all love a space to also kind of open up is something we can, or I can give back to them. So yeah, go check it out. New episodes every Wednesday. This Wednesday, March 27th, is going to be an episode with Brownie from the Biscuits. The following week is going to be Jake Brownstein from Eggy. And yeah, go check it out. But I think the last thing I really want to add is just, we spent a lot of time talking about memories and shows and moments and all that. I think I just kind of want to toss in the fact of how grateful I am for what Pigeons has given me outside of just the actual music. And it's given me a network of friends and family across the country. And, if it weren't for Pigeons, none of us would be sitting here together. If it wasn't for Pigeons, a lot of us wouldn't have a lot of the things that we do. So, I might have been a bit off the train for a bit, but I'm back in full force, and I'm just stoked to see how hot that they are. And Pigeons is still evolving, and I'm just
you may have been gone, but your heart never left.
grateful for the flock and all of you guys. Yeah, I mean, I can't really
It's a daily reminder.
Giant pigeon on my forearm,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
What about you, Rudman?
Yeah,
some of it.
A lot of what Renzetti just said is true. I'm just gonna go ahead
I'll
and
say it's like
share the sentiment.
I said this on a recent episode.
Nice.
We did the
Probably
Merch Madness
wouldn't
one.
be-
Is
probably
almost
wouldn't be
everybody
here
I
if it
know
wasn't
at this
for
point I've
Pigeons.
met at a concert. A lot of them are at Pigeons concerts, Fish, or anything in between. But yeah, it's this music scene that has definitely given me all the social life and kind of relationships that I have today. So I'm grateful for the music and the scene, but the people I've met along the way is always the ground score. What do they say?
The real treasure is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, the real ground scores are the friends I picked up along the way. But yeah, I for real, I mean, if it weren't, I mean,
The music's good too, though.
yeah, I mean, let's not negate the fact. I mean, Pigeons fucks, and Rudman, you can grammatically correct me if you want, like you always do, but that's fine. But
Plural.
see, there it is.
Plural 10.
But no,
For-
in a
for 10
in a real way, those guys have influenced a lot of us to do really great things. I mean, I wouldn't be healthy and have changed my life in that way if it wasn't for Pigeons, and their music consistently gives a lot to a lot of people. So I feel like, a lot of people talk about how they're silly and zany and funny and what have you, but the message that they have is important, and I think that people really need to give them a little bit more due than they get sometimes, because
Hell yeah.
Pigeons rule, man.
Yeah, I share the sentiment as well. And the flock, I love the flock. And Paige and I, when we first started getting into Pigeons, we did a bunch of shows, and it was just me and her kind of. And then when the drive-in show started, we started connecting more because like everyone was kind of in pods, and then started making all these amazing connections, and it's grown into what it is now. And a lot of my best friends are from Pigeons,